Well, as usual, I'm going to be giving a slightly different take from the conventional one regarding recent events at BlizzCon. Specifically, I will be focusing on two issues. The issue of Sombra, the pre-played impressions of her, and something that was alluded to, and I don't know if this has been officially confirmed, but the idea of only single hero locks in quickplay, which is to say hero limits. And they're somewhat related to each other. But let's get into the meat of it. So, everyone by now has seen the game footage of Sombra and the short animated film, which was excellent. I thought that was a really good one. And Sombra is, to many, essentially a dream come true. I mean, you already know her abilities pretty much, so no point in really going into detail, but stealth, sped up stealth, low cooldowns, a transporter that can act as a recall, a teleporter forward as well, pretty good damage, 60 size clip for the machine pistol, hacking to disable abilities and barriers, and then mass hacking, and then a passive ability that allows you to see everyone and everything through walls on the map if they have 50% health or less. Now, it would really be premature of me to claim that she's overpowered. There's just no evidence for that because we haven't seen her in actual gameplay. However, given the panoply of abilities that she has, she just seems to have a lot more than, say, a Reaper or a Tracer. And you could say that's just because she fulfills a different role. Never mind the hacking, the health pack hacking. I mean, health packs on 2 or 3 second cooldowns continuously for a minute. She will be tweaked, without a doubt. I think her character will change after the PTR. But I have great worries concerning Sombra. I mean, she's sort of tilting on the edge between completely useless potentially, and I'll explain why, or just dominating the battlefield. Now, the reason why I say completely useless is related to my concerns about her implementation in the player base. Even to this day, we have many a Genji or Tracer or McCree, although Genji's the most popular one. A Genji main who either deceives himself or actually believes he's very competent, but in actual gameplay, he tends not to deliver the goods. And you end up in a situation, most often competitive, of course, where the guy just insta-locks Genji, and he's terrible at it. And he does it for both rounds, or all 3 rounds, and for the entire match, essentially. And it's just not good. And Sombra probably has a fair bit of reflexive or mechanical skill involved, but I think she's much more about, based on what I've observed, strategic planning and positioning. And these are things that people, especially young people, are just terrible at usually. They're, guttural, instinctual players. They often have good reflexes, and that's about it. I just see Sombra being the incarnation of something that everyone wants to play well, and very few people do it well. And that possibly includes me, I'll come back to this, but brings us to the next point. The hero limit in quick play. This is actually something that I personally have wanted and requested for a while. And there are some potential consequences, but I'm somebody who prefers quick play as a means of practice of different heroes and group gaming and coordination and teamwork. And Blizzard has made it clear that there's going to be an arcade mode which it sounds essentially like, play whatever you want, hero stacks. I don't like that in quick play. I prefer having specific heroes being chosen. And, of course, sometimes that's the case regardless, even though the option is there. But you can better believe that when Sombra comes out in PTR and then later in the main game, quick plays without a hero limit will quickly be 5-6 Sombras all at once, and that's not really fun. And more importantly, that doesn't really give you a good estimation of what her abilities are in combat and on a full team. Now, I'm not saying that you can perfectly simulate competitive vis-a-vis quick play. You can't, for a variety of reasons. One is that people don't really have that sort of hard-line mentality, if they ever do in competitive for that matter, in quick play, but at least you have some semblance of that. Now, I consider myself fortunate. I have a Samsung Evo 2 terabyte SSD, which will allow me to load in really quickly. I think I'll be able to insta-lock Sombra most of the time. So hopefully, since most people don't have that, hopefully I'll be able to, to get access to her quickly. And if you go, whether on PTR or Quick Play, I'll insta-lock her so I can practice for myself. Rather selfish of me, but I don't really play any offensive heroes, but I want to give her a whack and a shot. Might not have the best reflexes, but I think I can have pretty good positioning most of the time, and I do think strategically, so we'll see. But getting back to the point of Sombra herself, I mean, she potentially could be game-breaking, or she could just be trash, and the trash aspect is just tons and tons of people playing her without actually bringing anything to the table. I mean, this is a teenager's wet dream of a character, essentially. I'm not referring to any sexual innuendo here, but a character that can stealth, that has super speed when she's stealth. You can throw her transport and teleport forward, backward, hack help. I mean, this is an offensive hero that seems to just do it all. It's pretty good damage at a 60 clip. Why would you play any other offensive hero versus her? Now, there are some positive benefits if she's implemented well. For a long time, we've needed what's effectively a hard counter to Mei and a hard counter to Tracer. Tracer won't be able to recall if she's hacked, which means she'll be significantly easier to kill. Mei won't be able to put up her asinine walls, and of course the ice shell won't protect her anymore. If she's hacked, she can't do that. Based on what I understand, we have to see how this actually works in game. But and there's Zarya, and she seems like she could be incredibly useful and this incredibly potent character, but one worries of the hands she falls into, because if there's this urge, if she's anything like Genji and the desired ability to play her, everyone is going to be playing Sombra, and they might not have the tactician's mind in order to fully exploit her abilities. They just like the cloak and the speed and all this other stuff. So probably that's my main concern when it comes to Sombra, this forthcoming character. As someone who plays mostly tanks and support, I would have preferred a Doomfist or some other tank. What struck me as odd about the BlizzCon event and the announcement of Sombra as an offensive hero was that in the class lineup we now have 7 heroes that are offensive, and we have 5 heroes that are support and 5 heroes that are tanks. This discrepancy strikes me as woefully lacking, and I'm not sure how Blizzard is going about it. I guess they're just going about it in the Blizzard way. However, what I think happened was they were just working on this character concept, and they decided to go with it, and they invested a lot of time and energy, and she's offense, and we just got to deal with that. Fair enough. But I think bad Sombras might be a real thing, might become a real thing in Overwatch. Not just in competitive, but just people mucking around. If they implement the arcade mode and a hero limiting quick play, I probably will very rarely play arcade mode. I like the single hero limit. And as I said, using my 2 terabyte SSD, I will try to insta-lock her in most quick play matches, at least initially, in the PTR, just because I want to practice with her and see if I can get good with her. Time will tell whether or not I'll be able to do that. It's an entirely different question, of course. And if I'm not able to do that, if I find myself lacking, I will withdraw my attempts and go back to just support and tanking. But yeah, I think the potential danger in Sombra is not from Sombra herself, but in the people who play her. Unfortunately, Overwatch is filled with 12-year-olds and all manner of asinine people, and yeah, I mean, that's a real risk. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. A bit rambly, but I don't think you've heard that take on Sombra quite yet. Abilities seem fantastic. Let's wait to see the cards that were dealt in terms of the players who play her and how competent they are. Everyone take care, and assuming I don't drop dead, I'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.